Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 313. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's happening today, Mike?
Nothing, man. Just a nice sunny Sunday. I had some baseball on earlier. Got an interview today with Mr. Zach Howard, so looking forward to that.
Yes.
I talk about Moonshine Bigfoot, so
Yeah, a little bit of Hellboy, too.
a little bit of Hellboy. Yeah, it's a good day. Um, yeah, I don't think anything comic related, nothing too crazy going on. But I did publisher I like Chucklefish dropped Wild Frost on
Yes, they
Friday.
did.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been playing that. That's been pretty fun.
Yeah, so when we get to comics later, and I
Uh,
haven't read many comics, I'll just blame that game.
yeah, it's hard as hell, dude. The
Yeah.
little bit that I have got to play it this weekend, I mean, I'm terrible at all those games. So I'm the roguelites. I'm always like, I got to grind for hours before I get anywhere.
Yeah, and even after you grind for a while, it's still like, that game is so freaking difficult, but
Yeah.
it's got that, like, just one more energy to it,
Oh yeah.
and you keep
Yeah.
telling yourself just one more, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, like it's bedtime, I really need to go.
Yeah. Luckily though, like when you go to restart a run, exit to desktop pops up before like exit to title does, and I've like caught myself accidentally exiting the desktop, and then I'm like back in the real world, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, maybe I will take a break now.
Oh, see, that's the mistake I made. I bought it on the Switch, so I
Oh,
can just
nice,
lay on the
yeah,
couch.
yeah. Well, that's I've been playing on my Steam Deck, but I was hoping they do a physical release for his Switch. I would like that, but um, that would be nice. But
They've
the
done them in the past. I know Wargroove has one.
oh yeah, yep, they've done that before. But yeah, it's a fun game. And then I was playing Dredge a little bit last week, another indie game that came out. So a lot of video game stuff going on. You know.
I bought Mega Man. What was the one that came out?
Oh yeah, the BattleNet
Battle
battle.
Collection, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not. I haven't even installed
yeah. I
it.
gotta I gotta wait to play that one. I might wait to see if that goes on sale or something like that. But it's too many games coming out, man. It's like they wait till summertime to release all the good games, all the good movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw. I mean, it's not really it's not news, but Evil Dead Rise, I think there's like 40 critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It has like a 95, so pretty hyped about that. It comes out next weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll see it, but
I like, you know me, I don't buy variant covers or anything like that. Like I'm
right,
not that guy.
right.
But Marvel just did a line of Alex Ross Virgin variant covers that are all villain themed.
Oh man,
And
I
so I
didn't know that.
found a copy. They're super cheap right now because
Oh,
they
okay.
just came out. But so I found a copy of the Captain America Sentinel of Liberty 11 variant.
Uh huh.
It's MODOK.
Oh my god. For people not on video, it's Modoc in like a very frowning. It's like a full on close up of Modoc's face. That's amazing
Yeah,
with
it's
Alex Ross
fantastic.
detail. That's awesome.
So I got that
Uh,
today.
that's really cool. Speaking of variants, thank you to Chris for sending me a wonderful variant of Time Master in the mail from Jonathan Hedrick, signed that when he was down in Florida. So I got that in the mail. Flip through that again because that's a really cool book. Really like it, and I didn't have that variant, so now I have a signed copy, which is pretty hype. So
Nice.
yeah,
I was happy that I randomly picked the right variant you didn't have.
yeah. Plus, Jonathan's such a cool guy. Here's a story for the show. I reached out to him. I was like, dude, where can I buy this? Because I'd rather support him, directly. And he goes, oh, I'll just send you the first couple issues before they were even out. And I was like, well, that's nice. So he did that, and then I immediately, found him on his website and bought him off of him because he's such a good dude and he does nice things. He's been on the show and really talented guy. So support Jonathan Hedrick. Go to his website, buy some stuff.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I don't know if you saw he did a thing the other day where he had like a $80 variant or something that he had put up for like free or like a few bucks, and someone had noticed and bought it off his website, and then he had tweeted like, "Hey, I did this like Easter egg thing on my website, and someone noticed and bought it." And he's like, "That was on purpose. I only put one up there to like get people to go to his website." So that was pretty cool that he did that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, great marketing too. So he knows all about that.
The dude knows what he's doing. Like, he's a
Yeah,
smart guy.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And he keeps coming back to the show, which makes him a genius in my eyes. You know,
Well, it's like, so I kind of was off social media for a few days there, and then I
yeah.
jumped on today and
Hmm.
noticed that like Charlie Stickney was talking about, well, particularly me, but us,
Uh
about the
huh.
podcast
Yep.
in a
Yep.
list of like people to follow and everything, and I'm just like, why do all these smart people think that I'm smart?
Yeah, I noticed we are getting some follows from like other entities out there, comic book related, and I'm like, oh, that's always nice, spreading the
Yeah,
word and building everybody up. It's always a
yeah.
good thing. Um,
So
all right.
I'll
Well,
come up in the
yeah,
front too. I didn't read a whole
yeah,
ton of comics this week. Yeah, I did play that game quite a bit, but the all
that's all right.
honesty is it's been a shitty week.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
just to
yeah.
cap off, because you know how everything comes in threes, Mike.
Yep. Yeah. 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 For sure.
My third happened last night when my sink is completely plugged and I can't unplug it right now. So as soon as we are done doing this, I have to find a plumber to come in the
Oh boy.
house.
Oh boy. You tried plunging it, huh?
Try plunging it, try Drano. I even tore the whole sink apart, like
Uh huh.
the whole unit underneath, and
Yeah.
discovered that there's just a giant clog, and I don't have a snake to throw down there.
Damn. Well, best of luck to you.
Yeah, look forward to
Um,
the $400 for some dude to come and do something
yeah.
I could easily do if I just had the tools.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah. In a world where there's Aquaman, you could have called him to flush the pipes.
Get the fuck over
Unfortunately.
here, Jason Momoa. Get over
Yeah.
here.
What the hell? Um, with that, we'll jump into the news so Chris can get back to the home maintenance.
Yeah.
Um, DC Studios has confirmed its first casting for the new DC Cinematic Universe slate. Frank Grillo will be voicing Rick Flag Sr. for the upcoming Creature Commandos animated series. Now, if I remember correctly, that also means Frank Grillo will be playing it in the live action version.
Yes, all of the voice actors will be in any live action adaptations as well.
Yeah. And
I
for
don't
those of
know
you,
if this
what?
character will make it to live action though, because isn't the Creature Commandos like a World War II story?
Not sure. Yeah, maybe. Um, but I know Frank Grillo. This guy, well, technically, I mean, he's voice acting. He's walked between worlds now because he was what's his name in Marvel, uh, Captain America's villain with the skull thing.
He was in Red Skull.
No, not the Red Skull one. He's the dude that he's in the elevator with Captain America.
Oh, Crossbones.
Crossbones. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I knew there was some sort of skull bones thing. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I almost thought that I like when I heard Frank Grillo, I picture like Joe Manganiello, uh, but no, it wasn't him. It's the other guy. But yeah, that's cool. Um,
yeah, yes. Okay, it hasn't been officially announced, but the comics for Creature Commandos are all set during World War II.
mhm,
The original team was introduced during Weird War Tales '93, created by J.M. DeMatteis. Um, and the Rick Flag that we know from the Suicide Squad is Rick Flag Jr.
right.
So
Mm,
I would assume that they're still doing that way, but we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. I guess we will. That's yeah. So if that takes place during World War II and Rick Flag Jr. is in the Suicide Squad, how old would he be? I don't want to do the math right now. I'm trying to like figure
Uh,
that out. Something, yeah.
comic book science,
Yeah, comic book science. Like, something's not adding up here.
like that's how it was probably back in the '70s or whatever when
Right.
Junior was. When was the Suicide Squad created? The
Yeah,
'80s
80s.
maybe,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
made sense. And nowadays
Right.
it doesn't, but we just pretend like it
We
does.
just pretend it does. Yeah, yeah. It's all right. It'll make sense. Movies. We did get a trailer just like dropped in the middle of the week for the Marvels. First teaser trailer was released this week. Listen, I watched it. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Um, I don't know. As someone who hasn't watched the show, Miss Marvel, maybe I should watch it and maybe I'll understand a little more. But what was your take on the trailer? I watched it and went meh. I don't know how you felt.
So the only thing with understanding it is, so it is teased at the end of Miss Marvel, like that
Okay,
that their like powers are connected somehow.
okay, that makes sense.
It I don't know. They're gonna find a reason why their powers are connected, like the sources are all the same or some stupid
Yeah,
bullshit.
right.
But it's like it's very shoddy in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I thought the trailer looked fun. I
Mm-hmm.
like the girl that plays Miss Marvel is really great. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
show was pretty good. So
Yep.
I'm down to see her in live action. I did not care that much for Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think Brie Larson comes off really stiff. I
Yeah.
can't remember what you thought of that movie, but
Yeah, I wasn't. I was like, I could take it or leave it. It wasn't life changing.
yeah. And
Uh,
then um the woman from WandaVision's in it too. And I'll
oh,
be
that's
interested to
right.
see how
Yeah.
they bring that together because I know in the comics she's a Miss Marvel at some point, so that's where comic wise they all connect because they're all Miss Marvels.
Oh, that's right. She is. That's where she's from. WandaVision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. It looks fun, but I'm not
I'm
saying it's not I'm not as excited as I was for Ant-Man or as I am for like
right.
Guardians, or
Right.
it's one of those ones I feel like I'll either go into and be very pleasantly surprised or go into
Mm-hmm.
and be like, all right, that was a thing, and then move on.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Speaking of that, Shazam is available to rent, which isn't a good sign. So I'm probably gonna rent it at some point. Um, yeah, I haven't watched that yet, but
Well, I mean, DC's just kind of shitting out these movies. Like, they
yeah,
just
they
want to get
really
them
are.
out so they can move on to the new
Yeah, so
universe.
they can move on. I will say Samuel L. Jackson. Always hyped to see him come back as Fury. So
Yeah, I was actually shocked to see him because everyone was saying that Secret Invasion was like Nick Fury's last thing,
yeah,
that was it
so
for the character. So obviously that was wrong.
mhm, right. Um, so maybe this movie ties into like, oh shit, we can find another Nick Fury on another universe or something, and then that's how he hands
I
off
th-
the title or
I
the.
think it'd be funny if they did the opposite of what the comics did. So the origin of Nick Fury, like Samuel Jackson version of Nick Fury.
I can't remember.
So it was done in the Ultimates because they wanted to cast, when they were making the Ultimates. Part of that was to make not only this alternate universe and sell comics, but like
Hmm.
make them so that they could kind of visualize what the movies would be someday.
Okay. Yep.
And they drew Nick Fury as Samuel Jackson because
Hmm.
they were like, Samuel Jackson would be awesome for this.
Yeah.
So then later on in the 616, when we had regular Nick Fury, white Nick
Hmm.
Fury, we'll say, there was a series, I think it was called Battle Scars, that
Hmm.
introduced Samuel Jackson Nick Fury as Nick Fury Jr., Nick
Oh.
Fury's son.
Okay.
We're not going to explain why. I don't think we ever saw the mother. So
Uh
okay. So I think it'd be hilarious if they reversed that and
huh.
Samuel Jackson just like adopted a white boy.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd be great.
Then we got
Yeah.
that Nick Fury,
Yeah. That's
but
hilarious.
that will never happen. But it'd be hilarious if it did.
Yeah, it would. It would be awesome. Um, yeah, I was excited to see him make an appearance. He's always I think he's one of the best parts of those Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean we talked about last week, but him doing Secret Invasion too, I'm so stoked for him to have like a full fledged thing to be a part
yeah,
of.
yeah, for sure. Comic book news. All right, here we go. I know you're all been waiting for it. Marvel's big X-Men event. I feel like there's a one every year. Fall of X. Chris is like, what the hell? Which was teased late last year is going into full swing this summer, and with that, we have plenty of tie-in comics. Here we go. Yep. Uh,
Tie-in week here at Fortress Comic
tie,
News.
yeah, tie-in week, everybody. Uncanny Spider-Man will be a 5-issue series written by Cy Spurrier, art by Lee Garbett. The series will see Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler, take the mantle of Spider-Man to fight against ant mutant organization known as Orcus. Uh, I don't know if
Anti mutant.
anti mutant. I was like ant mutants, anti mutant. Sorry, everybody. Uh, if Kurt Wagner becomes Spider Man, is he even Spider Man anymore? Like, isn't the whole point of Spider Man to be part spider?
Yeah.
Because he could just teleport everywhere,
I don't
right?
know what this is.
What what are we
I'm
doing?
I'm obviously not reading X-Men,
Right.
so I mean none of this makes sense to me. But when I saw this, I was like, and it's just like Kurt in his like typical Kurt pose with the Banff behind him in a
Yeah.
Spider-Man costume. And I'm like, whatever. I
So
mean,
he's
Spider-Man
gonna
people are gonna buy it, so it's just a way to cash in.
yeah, sure.
They're gonna collect
And
two of the most hardcore groups in Marvel, which is
X-Men.
Spider-Man
Yep.
and Nightcrawler people.
And Nightcrawler, not X-Men, you're right.
Yeah,
Nightcrawler fans, yeah. Children of the Vault will be a 4-issue series written by Denise Camp with art by Luca Maresca. The series will team up Cable and Bishop as they fight a mutant hating group known as Children of the Vault. Okay.
cool.
All right.
There's a
Sure.
whole lot of anti-mutant, mutant hating, mutant
Yeah.
racist groups out there, people.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Let's come on. Alpha Flight is returning with its original lineup for a 5-issue series written by Ed Bryson with art by Scott Godlewski. All right. I know there's a lot of Alpha Flight fans out there. So,
There's a ton of them. So
yeah,
Puck's
that's
coming
cool.
back, everybody.
Yep. Puck is back. Yeah.
I got nothing to add to any of this. I mean, it's all X-Men stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you all enjoy it. I
Yep.
will not be enjoying it.
Yep. This is something I will be enjoying. DC made an announcement. 2 new series coming from Mark Waid this summer. First is a spinoff of the series World's Finest, which we've been absolutely loving. I
Mhm.
think Mark Waid's like finest comic writing right now. Uh, Titled World's Finest Teen Titans. What? With art by Emanuela Lupacchino. The series will take place at the same time period as World's Finest. Batman Superman will feature the original Teen Titans team with Dick Grayson, Robin leading the charge. This is like the first time I've been yeah, it's the first time in a long time I've been excited for Teen Titans. Let's say that. Yeah.
Unless you come back and tell me it's the greatest thing ever made, I'm not reading a
Oh,
Teen
you're
Titans
not.
book. I'm
Damn.
not
All right.
doing it, man. I
Okay,
just
man. All right. All right.
I love World's Finest. I love the world that like the hit Mark having his own corner of DC that's like set in this time frame where nobody messes with it.
Yeah.
I love, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't do Teen Titans.
I got it.
Sorry, everybody.
I
At
got
least
it.
it's not Nightwing. I mean, it'd probably be good 'cause it's not Nightwing. All the
Yeah.
Nightwing fans hate me for this, but I mean, at least it's got
I mean, I gotta check it out. I if it's as fun as World's Finest, Batman Superman, I gotta check it out.
this is one of those ones where when you come back and tell me how it is, I will take your word on it and
Yep.
make my decision there. But just based on the fact that Teen Titans book, you're not going to get me on day one. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
be convinced.
Yep. Next is Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor with art by Brian Hitch. The series will be 3-issue DC Black Label series that sees Superman travel across time to try and find a cure for a disease that's killing Lex Luthor. I mean, yeah, you got Mark Waid, DC Black Label. I'm in. The story sounds pretty interesting, so yeah, I'll be checking this out.
And you got Brian Hitch. I mean, fuck yes.
Yeah, yeah, Brian Hitch on the art. Yep.
Yeah, this to me sounds really dope because it's playing on that. It's playing on something that we always play on with Batman, where like, why don't you just kill the Joker? And in this
Right,
case, it's like you could do nothing, and then your greatest rival's dead. But that's not
right.
Superman.
Yeah, that's not Superman, right?
So I'm really excited for this. I think it's
Your
gonna be great.
greatest rival's dead, but also one of the smartest men in the world, right? So like he
Exactly.
probably does some good for the world as well, with even though he is an asshole. But
Well, it's also if you look at the solicit text, like it
yeah,
says all this stuff about like everybody wants Lex to suffer, but that's not who Superman is. And like,
right, right.
I just like that like Boy Scout good old boy Superman. It's why I
Mm-hmm.
love Cap as well, like that Boy
Right.
Scout good old boy stuff. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
This is going to be some. We're going to be talking about quite a few books here. DC announced the characters will be getting for the Night Terror books, and I'll probably be reading most of them. And who will be writing them? There are 13 books in total. So we'll go through the list of titles, then discuss some creative teams that interest us. The titles, uh, which all begin with Night Terrors. So Night Terrors, and then this title. So we're gonna have Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Interesting. Wow, surprising. Action Comics, Detective Comics. Okay, so you got Superman Part Two, Batman Part Two.
Yep.
then you then you got Nightwing. Okay, whatever. Maybe I won't read all these, Chris. Robin, definitely not reading all these, Chris. Teen Titans. Okay, for sure not reading all these. The Flash, Shazam, Green Lantern, Zatanna, and Ravager. Okay, one of these does not belong.
To be fair, two of these don't belong, but
Two of these
one
don't
I
belong.
think is dope that it is there.
Yeah. Uh, Ravager. What?
Ravager's a weird one.
Yeah, Ravager's weird. Shazam, we can't get an ongoing with Shazam, so we just throw him in every fucking event they have.
What I love about this, because you remember we are getting an ongoing with Shazam soon.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah, we are finally getting one. Yeah,
And that's one of the ones I want to talk about because that ongoing is written by Mark Waid.
right.
And can you guess who writes the Night Terror Shazam #1, Mike?
Mark Wade.
Mark Waid. So I will pick that one
Oh,
up.
okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm
Uh,
gonna have to read all these. I think. Well, except for I won't touch the like the Nightwing, Robin, Teen Titans, but we're gonna talk about the creative teams here, everybody. So let's go through the list.
this is what I
Uh,
don't understand. So,
yeah.
Night Terror Zatanna is like the other one that doesn't belong, but I think it's dope that they're doing something with Zatanna.
Yep.
It's just a stealth. It's written by Dennis Culver,
Mm-hmm.
art by David Baldione, and it's a stealth Doom Patrol book because you know who's writing Doom Patrol?
Yeah.
Dennis Culver.
Yeah.
Like that's my only thing is like why did we have to do a why does she have to team up with Doom Patrol?
Right. Makes no sense. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Doom Patrol's Robot Man, but still, like it's just I would have. I think in this like story that's supposed to be everybody going to the nightmare realm where there's a lot of magic involved, I would
Yeah.
have liked to see more Justice League Dark
Mm-hmm.
and them just like even if it's just those solo characters doing stuff, as opposed to trying to like shoehorn them into tie-ins that get you to read other books that DC's putting out.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it. Batman #1, Joshua Williamson, Guillaume March, and it's Bruce Wayne has been a creature of the night, but now trapped in Nightmare Realm. Bruce is stalked by the horror he's created. Can he escape before his own nightmares pull him deeper? I'm definitely reading that. Big fan of Joshua Williamson. The art looks sick.
That one I think looks cool. And yeah, Joshua Williamson has earned a try. But I think these are all one issue stories, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the art for okay. Okay, it's not the artist. So Wonder Woman #1, Night Terrors #1. Wonder Woman and her unexpected new out. You know what I'm looking at? It's Jai Lee doing the cover art.
I didn't
He's
realize
yeah, he's not on the book, everybody. So you know how I hate Jai Lee. There's this awful cover of, and you guys got to look this up because like Wonder Woman's thighs do not make sense, and her arm, like this dude can't draw 90-degree angles, so her like arm like is like made out of like silly putty. And then her other arm is like about a foot longer than the right arm. The left arm. Listen, I'll stop here, but I can't look at this cover. It's absolutely disgusting. This cover. You guys know I love Jai Lee so much, right? Anyways, Wonder Woman and her unexpected new ally, Detective Chimp. Okay, I'm on board. Suddenly finds himself in a world where the worst nightmares come to life. And they got to team up with Justice League Dark. They reunites with her old team to save the world. Um, and then Nubia is there too, but who cares? So this is going to be written by Josie Campbell, okay, and Stephanie Williams with art by Juan Ferreira, but and Megan Hetrick on the art. Yeah, so Jai Lee is just the variant. Thank God. I'll probably check this out. Justice League Dark, Detective Chimp. I'm on.
Yeah, this one makes a little more sense than what I was talking about earlier because
Right.
Wonder Woman was a part of Justice League Dark. So, this one I'll probably check out just because I like the like having Doctor Fate and Constantine, and then he put Detective Chimp in something. I'm
Yeah,
probably
come
gonna
on.
check it
You're
out.
gonna, yeah, you're gonna check it out.
Yeah,
Night Terror Superman #1. So we got Joshua Williamson writing this one as well. Artist Tom Riley. Um, this is he's being pulled in. Clark Kent gets pulled in the Nightmare Realm. Takes him on a journey to the haunted Nightly planet where he's confronted by Super Reaper. Oh hell yeah! In the waking world, Superman was mid-fight when he was hit by a nightmare wave. Where he crash lands will surprise you. I fucking love this. He got hit by a nightmare wave. Yeah, I'm reading this one for sure too.
I will too because I feel like it's gonna connect to Joshua's Superman series as well, which I'm really
Yep.
liking. So yeah,
Uh, this one, Action Comics #1, written by Lee Williams and Philip Kennedy Johnson. Okay, with art by
Superstar.
Superstar Philip Kennedy Johnson. Sorry, art by Vasco Georgiev and Miko Suyan. Power Girl faces off against herself and the Super Twins. Oh yeah, and the Super Twins are being hunted by Cyborg Superman. Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, once again, I'm reading Action and love Philip Kennedy Johnson, and this sounds like it is directly tying into
Yeah.
what action has going on in Action.
Yep.
I love that cover of just Power Girl behind the door and Cyborg
Yeah.
Superman sitting there. Like that's a dope cover.
Yeah, like the Shining.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That looks. I do like a lot of the covers are pretty sick. The next one, Night Terrors Detective Comics #1, Dan Waters and Riccardo Federici. Uh, this is Jim Gordon stumbles upon a sacred ritual held by three disciples chanting around an enchanted clock. One of them is wearing a robotic bat suit that Jim donned many years ago as Batman, except the metal suit seems to be have soldered directly into the flesh of the person wearing it. What do these creatures want with Gotham? Why are they targeting Jim Gordon's daughter, Babs, too? It has to be a dream. That's pretty crazy. So I'm guessing this is the bat suit he wore in the New 52 run, and this like weird mutant cyborg Batman thing looks awesome. So I'll definitely be reading this.
yeah. I kind of want to check this one out because just that design
Yeah,
pulls
it's
me
sick.
in,
Yeah, it's crazy looking. He's got
and
like one eye.
connecting to something as like weird as New 52 Batman when Jim Gordon took over. Like
Yeah,
you got me there. Like
right,
that was such
right.
a weird moment in New 52 Batman that I'm down
Yeah,
for you doing
yeah.
something with it.
I'm down for that. Night Terrors Nightwing #1. This is Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad, and then you got Danielle de Nucuelo on the art, and gives explore what gives Dick Grayson nightmares. Okay, he Dick wakes up in jail to realize nightmares come to life. He murdered someone he loves. Only thing making worse is the past coming to haunt him. Scene by scene, the Batgirls try to help Nightwing figure out who framed him. I do not care about this at all.
Yeah, Nightwing has it coming. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah, he goes to jail for murdering someone. Whatever. Night Terrors Robin #1. Dick Grayson is the only Robin stuck in the Nightmare Realm. Wow, written by Kenny Porter, art by Miguel Mendonca. Jason Todd and Tim Drake must fight against their own worst fears as each other are forced to relive the darkest moments of their lives. No, I
Cool.
don't
We're
think
gonna
so.
do something with Jason getting beaten with a crowbar again, everybody.
Again, yeah, again. Like this is literally every. This is like become the Jason Todd story every time he shows up. It's like, oh, we got to tackle that trauma of him getting hit with a crowbar.
Yeah, this is one I'll skip, even though I've heard good things about Kenny Porter
Yeah,
as
Kenny
a
Porter's
writer,
great. Yep.
and Miguel. I've seen some of the pages on Wonder Woman and phenomenal art, but yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
jump in on this one.
Um, Night Terrors Teen Titans #1. After plummeting into the Nightmare Realm, and sorry for being out of order. This is how this article is written. It's fucking atrocious.
Hmm.
The remaining members of the Titans come face to face with a fever dream turn reality. The Terror Titans and the Terror Titans. Okay, so there's an opposite Titans that are Terror version. That sounds kind of interesting. and the tower looks like really evil. So you have Andrew Constant writing it and Scott Godlewski, um, which is funny because all they cite Andrew Constant for writing was Future State Nightwing, which was like a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I would guess that's his last credit for DC.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
how these articles are done, because I did it for a little while, is
Yep.
it's essentially a copy and paste of a press release
Mm-hmm.
with like a little bit of flash put in.
Uh
So
huh.
when they send you those press releases, if it's DC sending it in this case, they're going to give you DC credits.
Right.
So if he
Okay.
did, let's say his last thing was at Marvel, they're not going to be like, and he did this at Marvel. Like, no, DC
Yep.
isn't going to pump that. So
Um.
I personally used to take the extra effort to be like, all right, Future State Nightwing is a while ago. Let's Google Andrew's name and see what his last credit was and change it. But
Yeah.
not everybody's doing that, I guess.
Um. Night Terrors Flash number 1. These covers are amazing. And you even have one from really good artist. You have well, hold on. So the writers Alex Packnadel, who uh, who was working on DC vs Vampires, art by Daniel Bayliss, and then you have some really good, cool variants from like Rafael Sarmento, Dustin Nugent. This is about the after the Flash family freed Barry Allen from the dimension Pariah locked him in. Oh wow! So now we're tying it at Dark Crisis. The Scarlet Speedster was able to return home for some quality time. When the world was plunged in the nightmare realm, Barry's trapped in a different cage, and he'll have to find his way out. Okay, so very generic.
I'm going to guess that he does it by running really fast.
Yeah, it's got it. I'll probably read it.
Though that one, like almost zombie esque Flash
Yeah, that
is
one's
really
sick.
cool.
Hmm.
And then this other one where he's like all deformed and like super muscular with like a fucking 18 pack
Yeah.
is really cool in its own way too. But yeah, I'll skip Flash.
This one is the Shazam number 1, Night Terrors. Shazam number 1. When the nightmare wave struck, the entire Shazamily, oh god, was plunged in a terrifying landscape of their own fears, though no fears ran deeper than those of Mary Marvel, haunted haunted by a twisted version of her heroic brother, Teth Shazam. Okay, that looks pretty sick. Um, this is from Mark Waid and Roger Cruz on the art. Yeah, that looks really cool. You got Mary versus Evil Shazam. I mean, Black Adam, right? But Billy Batson, Black Adam. So I'm interested.
Yeah, and I think this will be the first. We might get a Shazam issue before this, but it's Mark Waid's doing Shazam. Whenever they put out a Shazam thing, I try to buy it just to
Mm-hmm.
put my dollar out there to be like, I want more Shazam stuff. So
Yeah,
it sounds cool. I like the idea of Billy, like evil Billy.
yeah, yeah. I think that's cool. Um, Night Terrors Green Lantern number 1. Something is wrong is Sector 2814, 2814. And Hal Jordan, Kilowog, and the other Lanterns must find the mysterious disturbance. Despite a ban on any Earth's Green Lanterns leaving their world, Sinestro finds himself at the heart of the Night Terror's Green Lantern number 1. What they discover is a planet controlled by a familiar face, the face of Hal Jordan's greatest fear. In a backup story, Sinestro finds himself thrust in a new reality that drags him into the darkest corners of his past and perhaps future. This one's written by Jeremy Adams, backup story by Alex Segura, art by Eduardo Pensica and Julio Ferreira. So, and Mario Fox Focillo. So, I'll probably check this one out, I guess.
Yeah, probably skip this one. I mean, it's just a numbers game at this point. Like,
Yeah,
it sounds interesting, but like, I can't buy all of them, is what it
yeah,
is.
right, right.
So somebody has to hit the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah.
might be that one. Night Terrors is Hana's number 1. Uh, one of the people still awake, not in the nightmare realm, is Zatanna, who must defend her unconscious allies, Wonder Woman and Detective Chimp, from Insomnia's sleepless nights, led by their horrifying Sleepless Queen. But the outnumbered Zatanna can't do this alone. She uses her magic to summon any champion that's still awake, and it's Robot Man. Okay. And there's a variant of her in a thong, so there you go, everybody. Grab that variant.
So here's the thing about that variant.
Yeah.
So I like the art a lot
Yeah, I do
because
too.
it's like a zombie
Yeah.
Zatanna.
I think it's cool, yeah.
But then, like, why does it have to? This is what frustrates me about this stuff because I
Yeah.
understand there's a market for it and that's why it
Right.
exists. But for me
Right.
personally, I don't want
A
I don't want
cheesecake cover.
the Tana booty cover. Like, that's not what I want.
I know.
So I kind of wish that like one of these other ones was that style because
Yeah.
it's like the two coolest ones in terms of art style are that
Hmm.
and the like super hentai one.
Yeah. Yeah, Super Hentai one's crazy
Like,
looking. Yeah. Definitely catering to a market there, DC. No shame at all.
yeah,
Uh,
but
yeah.
I mean, fuck it, people like it, but
Yeah, sure.
yeah, this is another one I'll be skipped.
Yeah, you got Dennis Culver writing it, like you said, from Doom Patrol, and art David Baldion. And then you got Night Terror's Ravager #1. Ravager is separated from Stormwatch. Okay. Trapped in a nightmare world, she must protect her younger self from being consumed. Yeah. So you have Ed Bryson on this one with art by Dexter Soy. So another sick covers. There's like a zombie one, which is really cool. But yeah, I don't know if I'll check that one out. I'm definitely like the main ones like Superman, Batman, Detective Comics. I'll probably be checking those out.
Yeah,
I wish it was less of an event and more of just like horror stories in general, but I don't know.
I mean, I think it's cool that it seems like they're all one issue stories. So like the event will
Yeah.
be whatever the 2 issue book that'll like be the overarching. This is what happened, but
Hmm.
it feels like that is what it is. It's here's the event just so we have an excuse to throw these characters into horror situations,
Right.
which I think
Yeah.
is cool. So I'm excited for the event. I just like any event, cannot buy every single book. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
It's just too much. It's too much. Um. Yeah. And our last piece of news: David Steinberger and Chip Mosher, who are the co-founder and CEO of Comixology for the Amazon purchase, announced today that they're starting up a new comic book publisher. Oh my God, the gods have spoken. This publisher will have a digital and print presence, but with a twist. The print comics will all be prestige, oversized issues available through the direct market, while the digital versions will be made through their online store. The digital comics are said to have a model that allows for consumers to sell their digital copies and see some of that money go towards the creators themselves. And even though the two claim it isn't an NFT, well, it sounds a lot like NFTs. Some of the creative that have signed up for the publisher include Scott Snyder, James Tinian IV, Ram V, uh, Joel Jones, Jock, Brian Azzarello, Stephanie Phillips, Mark Bernard, and more. That's a pretty killer lineup. Um, yeah, that's I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye out, see what these books are announced as.
Yeah,
So another publisher, fine. I mean, I think we're getting at a huge saturation point with publishers. Like some of these are going to close their doors and soon.
yeah, for sure.
Um, if their plan is to make like almost a bad idea esque boutique thing where they have a very slim, like if you're going to start a publisher now, you really need to keep as slim as possible.
Hmm.
2 to 4 books a month. That's it.
Yep, yep.
So hopefully that's what they're doing. What I found funny about this whole thing though, because outside of that, everything seems pretty standard. They're going to be in comic shops. I like that they're prestige books, all that stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
The digital thing made me laugh because the I think you disagree with me on this, but we'll see. The conversation around NFTs has become so toxic because of
Hmm.
corporations using them for like shitty things
Yeah.
that people have a hard time separating the technology from just the shitty people doing shitty things.
Hmm.
And like when I read this, I'm like, just say that your books are NFTs because that's what they are. But
Well,
they don't want to say that because everybody's gonna come out on Twitter and be like, "Ah, I'm fucking NFTs and all this stuff."
I don't know enough about NFTs, but NFTs aren't books. They're just pictures, aren't they? That you
Or they
buy
can be
and they're
anything.
oh,
You can
okay.
make a movie in NFT. It's
Okay.
literally just it's creating a digital thing and making it scarce. So like you can make that image and only one exists or only 10 exists or whatever
Okay.
because it's through a blockchain. And I know
Yeah.
a big problem people do have with NFTs that's legit is that its carbon footprint is kind of high.
Yeah.
So we'll put that to the side because they also claim that they found a way to make it like eco-friendly or whatever.
So they're going to be a limited number of digital copies?
I don't
Did they?
think so, but I think they're
Oh,
just
okay.
the other thing with NFTs is that they're traceable. So like
Right.
you can so if I buy, let's just use the classic example of the ape NFTs. If I
Yeah.
buy the ape NFT and then I sell it to you for whatever,
Hmm.
like it's through a chain where they can trace it. So you can
Yeah.
always know where it is.
Right. Right.
And part of that system has always been that if a creator creates something with an NFT and it's sell like if they sell it for $10 and then it sells for $10 million, they
Hmm.
can collect a percentage off that secondary sale,
Okay.
which is
Interesting.
kind of an interesting thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
So when
That is
I'm
interesting.
reading about this, I'm like, these are NFTs, but you're
Yeah.
making a lot of them instead of only making like 10 of them, you know?
I mean, if they do say it's a limited number, I just read it as, oh, it's going to be like Comixology, except where Comixology did digital and then they went to print. They're doing print to digital.
Yeah,
But
I think it
yeah.
is going to be like Comixology where there's a ton of, well, you have to do it to their website and everything.
Right. Right.
Like I said, you could make a million NFTs.
Yeah.
Like they could just make, it doesn't cost them anything to like make a billion of them, you know,
Right.
or to make two. Like it's the same price as
But
far as I know. So they could just make way too many. And then that way, when you like buy your book and you're like, oh, like I'm never going to read this again, I'll sell it to Joe Smith
yeah.
and get $2 back on it. Um, they can just trace it and all that. That's all it is. I'm just,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
made me laugh that like the books are NFTs. Like, let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't. How is it going to be any different than what Comixology was originally? Right? You'd buy the book on Comixology, and it would stay on Comixology. I, I'm just happy that Comixology now that's owned by Amazon, and they've like run it into the ground. Right? I'm glad that there's at least somebody like trying to do something in the digital realm. I guess
Yeah, but they're just a
because
publisher. They're not really, it's not a
yeah,
platform.
yeah, it's not a platform, right?
There's other
So
people trying platforms, but they're failing miserably.
yeah,
Just because they can't get Marvel and DC. And if you don't, and sorry, in comics, if you
right.
do not have Marvel and DC, you have
You
nothing.
won't. Yeah, you got nothing. Yeah,
Uh, yeah. One thing with
unfortunately.
the reason Comixology isn't an NFT is A, it's not in the blockchain, but B,
Right.
I don't know if they still do this, to be fair, but at one point there was a thing you could go into and you could literally download everything you bought on Comixology as a PDF.
Hmm. Yeah, because there's a lot of those like Vault Comics and stuff. They do DRM free, where you could just download the PDF and keep it for yourself, right? So
Yeah. I think the publishers have to opt in on it, but
yeah.
I remember a lot of Marvel stuff was
Now,
downloadable,
if
so
they do it that way, where it's like DRM free and more of the money goes to the creator than like Comixology was giving, that would be
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean we could go in for days about their plan
Right.
to distribute with the
Right.
creators and everything and help them out. And I think that all sounds great, but for our audience, it's nonsense. You know, like not to say that nobody cares, but like
Right.
the average consumer doesn't really think that much about what creators are getting paid.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can see why people like Scott Snyder and Stephanie Phillips and all of them are going on it because they're going to get a lot of money to do it
Right.
and they get to keep their creations and make any money that comes from like a movie or something. So
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Um. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what books come out of it. To be honest.
yeah, I'll be
Uh.
waiting to see the announcements for books in
Yeah.
particular.
All right. So I had some books come out this week. I read a few of them. Uh, like I missed out on. I still have to read 8 Billion Genies #8. Nemesis Reloaded #4. Have not read, and then I got to catch up on Masters of the Universe Masterverse. I'm a couple issues behind in that. So those are what I have not read. I did read Second Coming Trinity #1. This is the third installment of Second Coming through Ahoy Comics. Mark Russell and Pace on the art. Uh, we get to the villain from like the last series is Cranius. We get to the trial of him, and we get the origin of like, oh, why was he such an asshole, and like we get to this point where he was at his like reunion, and I can't think of his name. the the hero was an asshole to him. So at the last request, he gets, instead of being like uh, given the death penalty, he gets shot into space. Sunstar, that's his name. Sunstar was a jerk to him, but he gets shot into space. So I'm sure we're going to see a return from him because he's a crazy mad scientist getting shot into just to explore space until the end of time or something. So I'm sure he's going to come back with some weird time travel thing, which would be interesting to see. Um, Still really good. Adventures of Superman, John Kent #2. I caught up on this. Taylor and Henry. Yeah. What a way for John to end up on Injustice Earth with Ultraman getting his neck snapped, and then Injustice Superman just like, oh shit, you have your mother's eyes, who lost his Lois. Crazy. So I cannot wait for the rest of this series. Like you said, Ultraman comes in, he gets his ass kicked, he gets killed, and then here we are. That
Yeah,
was wild.
that ending. That was what I didn't want to spoil for you because when I
Yeah,
turned that page, I was like,
yeah,
"Whoa,
yeah. I was
what?"
like, wait, I was like, who? What? Who snapped his neck? Um, that was wild. Yeah, that was a really cool ending. Phantom Road #2, Jeff Lemire, Walta. This got a little more interesting. This is like the one where they're like in parallel worlds. We get a little bit of an explanation from this guy in a gas station that when they're in the other world, he says like this world is just below the normal world, and they need to deliver this package that they found. I don't know if it's like lazy writing or if he just like really can't tell them. He's like, you have to do all these important things, but I can't tell you why, and I can't tell you what's happening. And so it's like that's what he actually says that stuff, and I'm like, okay, it might just be Jeff Lemire being like, okay, I can't tell you why yet, can't tell you how yet, and then I'll get to that at a later date. I almost could like feel Lemire was like speaking to us. It's weird because you put this character in there to give you like exposition for the plot, but not enough. So like he was like, well, how do I do that? Okay, just tell them you can't tell them now. Okay. They kill another one of those zombie things, but it like what happens is they're like flashing in between the normal world and this world, and it ends up being a real person that they kill, and now the cops are like coming at them. So it's almost like they're blinking in between worlds, which is kind of interesting. I'm gonna stick with it just to see where it goes. And I know Jeff Lemire is a good enough writer to not do that lazy writing, so I'm just saying that I'm not
Mhm.
calling him a lazy writer. It just felt like that. But I'm sure he'll have an explanation. Fantastic Four issue 6. This is North and Fiorelli on the art. Interesting issue. There's an evil, well, not evil. There's a algae that's taking over aquatic life very rapidly. So they block out the sun in a certain part of the Midwest just to take care of it. And at the end of the issue, Maria Hill shows up and goes, "Yo, Sue Storm, you blocked out the sun in a certain part of the U.S. for about 3 days. You're a threat to the globe." And she's like, "Oh shit!" So her and Johnny go on the run. So I think the whole Fantastic Four is on the run for the next issue. So that's pretty cool. I mean, we were getting like one shot stories, and now it's finally like, okay, you guys are going to start having consequences for the things you're doing. Last book I read, and I don't know if you read it too, but I was really pumped for this issue. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Kelly Lanzig, Walker on the art. My personal opinion, cool first issue, like an old western. If you like Mando, you'll like this. They're saving the civilians from Grootfall. I have no idea what Grootfall is. I didn't read the last series. I guess Groot is bad now. I thought the whole issue was a lot of fun though. The interactions between everybody, and I'm gonna stick with it for sure.
Groot Falls new, so
Okay. Okay. Good.
yeah, we don't know nobody knows except
Yeah.
for
Okay.
Lanzig and Kelly.
Yeah.
I really liked it too. I liked the style of it. Yeah, it did remind me a lot of The Mandalorian and how it's like
Mm-hmm.
presented,
Yep.
and a little bit of Firefly thrown in there too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. Firefly. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was a really good book.
So yeah, so I read that, and then I also read another Kelly and Lanzig book with also writer Anabuchi, who's
Okay.
writing the Captain America Sam Wilson book, and they came
Mm-hmm.
together to do Captain America Cold War Alpha. So this is the beginning of the crossover between the two Cap books, basically setting up where everybody stands. So last week we did the Captain America Sentinel Liberty number 11, where Ian came to find Steve. So we get that whole thing where they talk and figure out, basically have the father son conversation of like, where have you been and what's been going on. And while that's going on, Bucky is talking with the White Tiger to create a new plan for the Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Steve and Ian get attacked. They have to go meet up with Sam, and that's how like Sam gets tied into this. And we get kind of all the side characters from both books in here together to talk about like, we need to do something. We need to go after the Inner Circle. And they find out that the attack came from an old cat book that Rick Remender wrote, Dimension Z,
Mm-hmm.
which was once run by Armin Zola and is now going to be run by White Tiger with Bucky's influence. And then we get a giant fight scene, them just fighting a bunch of these soldiers for the Inner Circle. And that's when the creatures from Dimension Z show themselves and attack the two Captain Americas.
Nice.
And this also gives us kind of the big heel turn for Bucky. He's like officially a villain now. He's basically come to the conclusion that in order for him to defeat the Inner Circle and to culminate his plans to do all this,
Mm-hmm.
the only way to move forward is to kill Captain America. So we
Nice.
get like kind of that whole thing. Really
Yeah,
great
kill him.
start to an event. Like I said, I've been loving Captain America. It's been some of the best Cap in a long time. So I'm down for this event to take place.
Nice.
But Mike, that is everything I read this week, unfortunately. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter. Also, the show at Fortress Comics _ on Twitter and at FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version of this, and give us the reviews on podcatchers for the audio version. It goes a long way. And if you want to go to extra mile, patreon.com/Fortress Comics. So thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week, and we will see you all here next week.